Hey, lesson 31 BB. We're still working on proportions. I'm just going to teach you a different method of solving regular proportions today. It's your choice whether you want to continue doing multipliers or you can do it this way. It's just another method that you can use. Most of you are getting pretty good with the multiplier method, which is great. That one's actually probably better for you. This one might be easier, but it's going to take longer. All right, so background knowledge, we've done solving proportions for a while now, and we've learned how to either scale up until you get to the number you want, or you can just multiply across by using a multiplier, right? And then with this one, where it's not a whole number, we can still kind of think like, oh, it's divided by 2, which is times half, and you still multiply it across, right? Still using multiplier, and we did this. We're all pretty good at this now, right? But if you can't multiply or divide by a whole number, we already learned that you're going to use a fraction. And this is on your notes. You can go ahead and do 1 through 4 with me quickly. 4 times what equals 21. I'm just reviewing what we've already learned. We want this to cross cancel, right? The 4's cancel out and you're just left with 21, which is why the multiplier is this fraction. Then if I multiply the top by that, I need to multiply the bottom by that. So then I do this. I'm proving here that this equals 21. And then here I get 26 and 1/4 as my n. This is what everyone has been doing, and you know how to do this now, right? Yes. So go ahead and finish off 2, 3, and 4, just the way you already know how, just to get your brain into the mindset of solving proportions. Yep, do number 2 through 4. So for number 2, what would you multiply 2 by to get 13, Grant? 13 over 2, good. And then you would do the same thing with the 9, and you should get 58.5. How about number 3? What would you multiply 3 by to get 11? Kara?
11 over 3.
11 over 3. You guys are pretty good at this by now. And then this last one,
22 over 3.
number 4, what would you multiply 3 by to get 22? Jaden? 22 over 3. And you have to multiply the 5 by that as well to solve for n. Anyone have any questions about how to do this? I think you guys are all pretty pro at this by now. Mm-hmm.
What was number 3?
The answer?
Yeah.
It was 25 2/3.
Number 3.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, today we're going to still just solve proportions just like this, but I'm going to teach you a different method. It's your choice which one you like better that you want to use. I don't mind which one you use, as long as you show your work. Okay? So, this one, we have x over 3 equals 4 over 5. This new method is, I want you to think of this as an equation. So, before I solve this problem, I'm going to do an example problem here. We know how to solve something like this. How would you solve for x for the bottom problem? How do I get x by itself? Because right now it says x divided by 3 equals 4. Ashneil? Right, you would multiply both sides by 3, right? So that this cancels out, I get 1. So I get 1x equals 12. So keep this strategy in mind as we solve that top problem. Now we have x divided by 3 equals 4/5. You're going to do exactly the same thing. Times 3 on both sides so that this cancels out and gives you 1x. And then here, if it makes you feel better, you can put the 3 over a 1. And then we have 12 over 5, which is 2 2/5. So you're going to solve it like an equation and pretend instead of this being a proportion, this 4/5 is one whole fraction. And we're multiplying that by 3. So again, we're multiplying both sides by 3. using the multiplicative inverse property to get 1 here, so that's 1x. And then just multiplying this side as 12 over 5, which is 2 2/5. Okay? So it takes a little bit longer, but it's probably easier. So that we have equivalent fractions. 2 2/5 over 3 is equal to 4 over 5. So what if the variable is on the bottom? Now you can't multiply both sides, right? Because that's not, you can't do just multiply pretending that's on the, you can't cross cancel that way. So the way to fix this is to use an equivalence property. If I flip the entire thing upside down, it's still equal, right? The two sides are still even. If I put that on a scale, 4/5 is still equal to 21 over n. If I flip it upside down, it is still true. And this is on your notes. Go ahead and fill in the blanks there on the bottom in the box. A true proportion is also true if you flip the entire thing upside down. Right? Let's say you are hanging on the monkey bars. Do you become a different person when you're upside down? No, you're still exactly the same thing. That's why both sides are still equal if I flip it upside down. So, do you see how the top proportion and the bottom proportion are still exactly the same problem? It's still equal. Okay, so we're going to solve it this way. So look at number 6. The variable is on the bottom, which means I can't multiply both sides by 7 like I wanted to, because that would give me 49 instead of canceling 7 out, right? So I need to flip the entire thing upside down using upside down property. Now I can multiply both sides by 7 so that the 7's cancel out. You see that? When it was upside down, when the w was on the bottom, I cannot multiply both sides by 7 because it would give me 49. It doesn't get the w by himself. And I see you are all working on finishing that problem. So what does w end up equaling? Say it again. This would be 56 over 3, which is, how many times does 3 go into 56? 18 and 2/3.
Oh, I know what he did.
Flip the entire thing upside down. If you twist it, remember we talked about how if you twist the proportions, then it's not equal anymore. The 7 still has to equal the 3. The w still has to equal the 8. So if you flip the whole thing upside down, it's still equal. But if you only flip one of them, it's now a twisted up one. It's not equal anymore. Does that make sense? Okay. So now that we have figured out what w is, you plug it in, and you can say your ratio is equivalent to this ratio. Go ahead and do number 7, and it's up to you. You can solve it using multipliers after you flip it upside down, or you can multiply both sides by 4. Again, you can be reading it this way like the old way. This is times 4 over 3 times 4 over 3, or you can multiply both sides by 4. Jaden, what was the answer to number 7? Y equals 14 and 2/3. Very nice. So that we have 11 over thirds is equivalent to, 11 over thirds. 11 thirds is equivalent to 14 and 2/3 over 4. Go ahead and do the rest of that all the way to number 12, and it's up to you which way you want to solve it. Either the old way using multipliers, or the new way where you solve it like an equation. But if the variable is on the bottom, flip the whole thing upside down first, and then multiply like an equation. Number 8. Raise your hand if you used multipliers. Cameron, what was your multiplier? 6/5. We want to go this way, so we multiply by 6/5. Good. Raise your hand if you flipped it upside down and used upside down property. Okay, so then, oh, you didn't, actually this one you didn't have to flip upside down. So you had to multiply both sides by 6, which gives you 24/5. And what was your final answer? 4 4/5. Good, that is correct. If you use multipliers, go back to using blue here. This cancels out. That gives me 6. So this is also 24/5, which is still 4 4/5. Good. Very nice. Number 9. Who used multipliers? Interesting. Joshua, what was your multiplier? How much? 15/7. We want to go this way. So 7 times what is 15? We want to get the 7 away. So 15/7 times 15/7. What's 15 times 4? What is it? 60/7, which reduces to, say it again. 8 4/7. If you use the new method, then you would multiply both sides by 15, and you would still do 15 times 4, which is still 60/7, which is still 8 4/7. Everyone got this right? Alright, number 10. This one you did have to flip upside down if you wanted to use the new way. Who used the new way? Who used multipliers on this one? Grant, what was your multiplier? I want to go this way. So 9 times 5/9, so 6 times 5/9. So you need to do 6 times 5 over 9. So that's 30/9. And if I did flipping it upside down, you would multiply both sides by 5, which still gives you 6 times 5/9, which is 30/9, which reduces to what? 3 would be 27, 3/9, which is 3 1/3. See how it's the same thing? You can do either way you want. It gives you the same answer. You end up doing the same step right here. Okay, number 11. Kara, what was your solution?
8/12 times 9/1.
Number 11?
Oh, wait, no, sorry. 6/7 times 9/1.
And what was your solution?
N equals 7 times 7.
Good. Number 12. What was your solution? Troy?
My solution was 6.
Who got all of them right? Ready for your quiz?
Right now?
No. But you feel ready for your quiz? Alright, that's good. So you have lots of time to start your homework today. Ready? Number 2s? Share.